So today we're going to talk about space geometry. And so for those of you that are like those three-dimensional people, you're going to love today. Okay, for those of you that are more two-dimensional people, you can't like see 3 dimensions on a sheet of paper. Okay, so anyway, basically space is defined as the set of all points. It's 3-dimensional. So space is like what's out there. Okay, so when you think of like outer space, it's like what's out there. So that's what space is defined as being. And so anyway, we're going to talk about an isometric drawing. And so if you look in your book on page 75, they have the examples of an isometric drawing. Okay? And so the first step of an isometric drawing, okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you some isometric dot paper so that you can follow along. And you can actually do this. Okay? So what I want you to start with is I want you to start with what is up there on the board. Now notice what you're making. It kind of looks like a chicken scratch with one leg that's a little longer than the other. Yeah. Okay. All right, so that's the very first step that you're going to do. That is step 1. Okay, now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a 3-dimensional box. So step 2, what I need you to do now, okay, the blue is the new lines, the black is the existing lines. Okay, perspective. It's similar to perspective, but it's not because you're not drawing all of these lines back to some point. Okay. Okay, so that's step 2. Step 3. Once again, you're going to see that the light blue are the new ones. So if you didn't start low enough, you're going to have some trouble. Okay. And so then that is your completed picture. So notice what you now need to do. You now need to add some dashed lines. And what those dashed lines do is those indicate the hidden edges of the figure. Okay, those dashed lines, whenever you see dashed lines, those means those are hidden. You can't see them from the front.
Unless it's confusing.
So that is how you use isometric dot paper to create a 3-dimensional figure. Now what the isometric dot paper does is it helps you maintain consistency between the sides. And it helps you count for the length, so you aren't having to measure like this side is 2 inches and this side is 1 inch. Okay, so that's where the isometric dot paper does come in handy. Okay, and so here are the different types of geometric solids. Now these are also in your book on page 76. Okay, so we have a cylinder, a prism, a sphere, a cone, a pyramid, and a hemisphere. Now remember those dashed lines, dotted lines, those mean the hidden edges. And if you didn't have those, you wouldn't be able to see, okay, the figure as well. So those dashed lines are really, really important. Okay. Also on pages 76 and 77, you're going to notice that they give you step-by-step instructions as to how you draw a cylinder, how you draw a cone, a prism, a pyramid, a sphere, and a hemisphere. And so what I want you to do is I want you to look at page 77 right now in the investigation. It says, make a sketch or use physical objects to demonstrate each statement in the list below. So real quick in your groups, I want you to do that. It's not going to take you very long. Okay, when you're done, we'll finish with today's assignment. Okay, here's what you're going to need to do, but you can go ahead and write that down after you get done with the investigation. Okay, so go ahead and get going on your investigation. Like I said, we'll